Hey everybody, Crystal Levanway here. So this last weekend, I had a listing that had multiple offers. The weekend before, I was the buyer's agents for two couples looking for homes, and in each case, we were in multiple offer situations, and we all know what a multiple offer situation is called, right? A bidding war! But let's be honest, the bidding wars these days are like peanuts. They're more like bidding skirmishes compared to the bidding wars we saw a few years ago. But still, it makes some people uncomfortable, so I have a couple of tips for you on how to survive a bidding war. First of all, it's super important that you have the right agent. And I'm not just saying this because I am an agent. This weekend, I got two offers on my listing. One from a very, very good agent. She had her ducks in a row. She was very much representing her clients. She was there fighting for them. The other one sent her clients off to the house in an open house. She didn't even see the house. And she kind of phoned me in and said, well, okay, we're submitting this offer, but could you just counter us back and tell us what we need to put in the contract in order for you to accept my client's offer? Yeah, like that's gonna happen. You gotta have an agent who knows how this all works. Just as important is using the right lender. A lender who will answer the phone on a Sunday and say, yeah, my clients are well qualified and they will totally close the deal if you accept their offer. Very, very important to have a good team on your side. And this might seem really obvious, but you have to actually put in the offer. I get calls like this all the time. Oh, there's more than one offer? Oh, well, we don't want to be involved in a bidding war. If you're looking for homes under, say, $300,000 right now in Phoenix, there's a lot of competition. You got to throw your hat in the ring and see what happens. You can't win if you don't play. The first criteria when you look at the offers, on behalf of the seller, is which offer puts the most cash in the seller's pocket. Purchase price, of course, is a big factor here, but there's other factors as well. The biggest one right now is closing cost assistance. A lot of buyers need a little help with that closing cost assistance. They shook the money out of their couch and they gathered up their down payment, but they need a few more nickels and dimes in order to cover the closing costs. Well, unfortunately, it's not nickels and dimes. It's usually 2 to 3% of the purchase price. And these days, with it being competitive and the prices are bumping up against appraisals, it's difficult to add enough to the purchase price sometimes to cover the closing costs. So if you're in a really competitive market, anything you can do to minimize closing costs is going to help you. Interestingly enough, VA loans, which people kind of fear for some odd reason, they typically don't ask for a lot of closing cost assistance. There's a few fees that the seller has to cover, but in the long run, it usually adds up to much less than an FHA buyer who needs the full 3% in order to get that house. If you are asking for closing cost assistance, don't ask for extra stuff like the home warranty and other things like that. Make it as clean as possible. A couple things that can make life easier for the seller and make your offer a little bit stronger might be things like reducing the inspection time. You've got 10 days for our standard contract, but maybe you can do it in 7. If you can shave a few days off the closing time, that might help the seller. Alternatively, if you can work with them and extend the closing time, or even consider maybe some sort of post-possession so that they can move out, those things might also help the seller out. So anything you can do that makes the life easier for the seller, consider doing them, as long as, of course, it's not going to put you in a bad position. There are some strategic measures, what I like to call the advanced strategies, if you really, really need to go duke it out. The escalation clause, where your offer becomes sort of like an eBay proxy bid. It goes something like this. Hey seller, I'm going to offer you $250,000 for the house, but I'll raise my price $1,000 higher than the next highest guy, up to like $255,000. You're willing to pay $255,000, but you don't want to throw that number out there right off the bat. Sometimes the escalation clause will do that for you. The appraisal can be an issue, and if you want to give a little relief on the appraisal, you might think that's going to help out. I cautioned you to use this with a light hand because you do not want to give carte blanche to an appraiser. I just heard this weekend about an appraisal that came in $20,000 low. You never ever want to write up something in the contract that would obligate you for $20,000 coming out of your pocket. Or alternatively, you lose your earnest money because you can't come up with $20,000 out of your pocket to cover the difference. Last but not least, don't get desperate for a house, okay? Because there's always other houses out there. There's always other houses out there. And sometimes this one just, the stars don't align and you gotta wait for the next one. So there's a couple tips to help you. I mean, just so you know, both my buyers went under contract 2 weekends ago. Their offers were accepted. It's totally doable. You just have to go in knowing the game. So if you have any questions or comments, if you want me to duke it out for you, well, you know where to find me, KristenHereInPhoenix.com. That's where. Go out there and don't be afraid to put on the battle gear.